Greetings, this is Tim. Welcome back to the channel. Originally, this was going to be a tutorial on changing the nozzle on the AnkerMake M5. The goal was to change the nozzle to the 0.2 millimeter nozzle so I could see how it affected the benchy print. The hope was it would improve the quality, but as you can't change the nozzle size in the Anker slicer, I've decided to put that tutorial off. I can't add anything to the discussion. AnkerMake has a good tutorial to change the nozzle. Be careful because the nozzle may be hot. But since I can't add anything to the discussion, I've put that off until I can change the nozzle size. I did try just to see what would happen on my Monoprice 3P, to see what happened if you used a smaller nozzle and didn't change the slicer, and you get spaghetti. It's just a mess because you're feeding too much material through the smaller nozzle. Over the last week, I have gotten some really good comments. I encourage you to go read the comments from the last video. People have a lot different experience than what I have with the printer. Some people aren't having Wi-Fi issues. Some people aren't having software update issues. You could probably learn from them, and they have different experiences. I'm just showing you what I've got. I did get a comment from Bearded Blonde about manually feeding the filament last week while the nozzle wasn't up to temperature. He is right. I think it was 170 degrees, and it should be over 200 in order to manually feed. But it's also been my experience that when the nozzle is at the proper temperature, or when you preheated the printer and it's at 260, sometimes it still doesn't feed well. I don't know if there's something in the way. I don't know if there's something inherently wrong with mine, but occasionally it just doesn't want to feed well. And it's hit and miss, like a lot of things on this printer. So my default is, if I can't get it to feed manually, go back to the extrude function and use that. Mike T made a comment. He was questioning if I feel that we are guinea pigs when we're backing the Kickstarter campaign. Yes, we are. But that's okay because we're tinkerers. If you're in 3D printing, you're most likely a maker or tinkerer of some sort. So you are going to be a guinea pig if you're a Kickstarter backer, and that's okay because we learn from it. I don't want things to be turnkey. I don't want people doing things automatically for me. I want to understand why things are the way they are and have that experience. 2 weeks ago, Opti Ice Cream suggested printing the NASA fabric, and I have done so. And this is in white PLA, but I'd like to be able to print the front of it in one color and the back in another color. I was thinking like a silver metal finish on the front of it, and then just use black on the back to save material. And my son does cosplay, and he would like to use it for that. And I can't find a way to pause the print at a particular layer height. I sent a support ticket to AnkerMake, and they confirmed that that's not available in the slicer software yet. It will be available once the color engine comes out, and I've got one on order, but that's March, and I was hoping to find something in between. I think this is a pretty basic function that I've seen in other slicer software. I'm surprised it's not included here in an expert mode, but it's not. I did try messing with the G-code, and I haven't had any luck. If anybody has recommendations, I'd like to hear it. And as far as the software update, so it failed 3 times last week. You saw that on the video. But I had the thought on Sunday that maybe the server was down. So Monday morning, I came in and turned on the printer and tried it when I was getting ready for work. And I quickly grabbed my camera because it started downloading, and then it installed, and it was successful. But as far as impact, I have not seen any appreciable impact from that software update. Still having the same Wi-Fi issues. I could not see the printer in the slicer software still, but I did find a solution to that one. My original setup, I was using a MacBook Pro with an Intel CPU, and I couldn't see the printer, even when I was on the same Wi-Fi 3 feet apart. And I thought maybe it was just the Wi-Fi issue, or maybe it was an early feature that wasn't enabled. But I heard comments that others had been able to get it to work. And so I downloaded the software for my PC and I installed it on my PC, and I think I found the problem. On the PC software, when you log in, you are required to select a region. And once you select the region and log in, you see the printer. So I went back to my MacBook, and I was not required to select a region when I logged in. So I manually went in and selected a region, and it worked. I was able to see the printer. So if you're not seeing the printer in the Slicer software, go check your region. It does solve the problem, as far as I can tell. As far as AnkerMake responses, I had 3 of them. 3 support tickets. One for the software update, which I haven't heard on. One for the pausing print, which I did hear on, and one for being able to change the nozzle size in the Slicer software, and I haven't heard on that either. They were pretty quick on the pausing the print question. It might be because they already had a solution. The software update and the nozzle questions I haven't heard back on, and might be because they don't have a solution yet. So if I get a response, I'll let you know. Finally, an update on the VESA mount. A couple weeks ago, I introduced you a project I was working. It was the goal to make a VESA mount that I could put on my printer, or on my monitor, and hang the monitor from the Gladiator gear wall that I use on my wall. And the problem I was having was, once installed, the weight of the monitor on this point right here was too much, and the filament underneath was collapsing. So I did 2 things. Number 1, I doubled the wall thickness, and number 2, I put a threaded hole through this larger screw. And my goal with that was to add another exterior wall in the middle of the cylinder. I put it together. I put it on the monitor, and monitor's on the wall now. It worked well. I wish I had, videotaped it. Is it appropriate to say videotape anymore if we're using phones and camcorders with no tape? But anyway, something for another time. I didn't know if it was going to work, so I just went with it and put it on the wall. It worked well. The monitor is solid, and it was a complete 3D print. There is no metal hardware in it, and I'll put up a picture of the monitor mounted. But the print worked well. I was surprised how well it worked, and I'm quite happy with it. My goal was to keep everything off the workbench as much as possible, so I had more workbench space, and this helped. But anyway, that's all I got for this week. Please keep the comments coming, and if you've got anything else, let me know. If you have suggestions of things to print, let me know. I'd like to have more. Thank you. Have a good day.